Hey everybody, I'm just doing a little experiment today, messing around recording this with my iPad instead of with my webcam. So let's just kind of get right into it. We're here to talk about the Flash episode, The Death of the Speed Force. This is a all around pretty solid episode, I thought. So let's just kind of get right into it. First of all, the stuff with Iris going on in the Mirrorverse and Ava and all that. I mean, it certainly is getting more interesting. Some people have been kind of annoyed. It's like, hey Iris, how come you haven't figured out Eva's bad already? Like, she's obviously crazy. Well, yeah, she's been locked in isolation for 6 years. Um, do that to yourself and see if you aren't a little crazy. That's gonna cause a pretty serious degradation in your social skills. Um, so I kind of have to be a little sympathetic with Iris here. She's got no reason to think that Ava is really up to anything bad. Um, the thing with Camilla turning out to get I mean, she got hit by the mirror gun. She's obviously getting sucked into the mirrorverse, which kind of is gonna blow the cover of what's going on with Ava wide open. I think because she knows like, hey, there's something funny going on here. She doesn't have all the pieces, but it's definitely going to be a big clue for Iris that there's more going on here. So this is where Ava's plans are going to start to kind of unravel a little bit. Let's see what else. The stuff with Turtle, don't care. I did like what was going on with Wally. Um, that was the interesting stuff. I mean, we got a lot of cool things like when they meet up. Barry and Wally hug each other, and a much more happy version of a famous panel from the comics. Seeing Wally as this sort of very Zen person, it kind of reminds me of how in the comics they would occasionally refer to Max Mercury as the Zen master of speed because that was something Max was really into. He did meditation. He would commune with the Speed Force in a way. Um, and I still gotta say, I am still disappointed we haven't gotten to see Max Mercury on the show. Still disappointed by that. Um, and I did like his reaction. Like he kind of says, like, "Hey, I saw my own children in the future," which I think is one of the big reasons why he flips out on Barry so hard. And a lot of people I noticed reading comments were like, who the heck does Wally think he is? Well, from what his perspective, he just saw Barry screwed up and erased his future children from history. Yeah, of course Wally's going to be pretty upset about that. And people were like, "Oh well, geez, his Zen went right out the window." Like, okay, man. Like people who are Buddhists or Zens or whatever. I mean, that's not a gotcha. People who are into Zen, people who are Buddhists, are allowed to get angry. It's not. It doesn't invalidate them. I mean, they are only human. Zen masters, monks, and all of that. They're only human. All right. I mean, the idea that if they ever get angry, they somehow don't really believe that. No, that just annoys me to no end. It's like, no, they're just fallible humans. I mean, me myself. I'm a Buddhist, not a particularly observant one, admittedly, and yeah, I follow the Soto sect of Zen. But I mean, I get angry sometimes. I mean, yesterday I was actually, for a frankly stupid reason, kind of pissed off. But it's like, okay, you just kind of have to let anger go. I mean, becoming, getting into something like that doesn't mean you just magically wave away your human flaws. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, people, yeah, okay, I've ranted about this enough. But what I did like, and what I really liked, is that story that Wally tells Barry about the woman whose son died and she goes around looking for a seed from a home where no one has ever lost someone, where no one has ever died. That is legitimately a famous Buddhist parable. That's like a legit thing right out of Buddhism. And he explains it essentially exactly correct. The whole point was to realize that everyone loses something. Now, kind of what we sort of miss in there, and because it's not exactly relevant to the show, is also meant to tell you that in life you're going to lose things, people you love. There's no getting around that. And pain in life comes from trying to hold on to that, or just telling yourself again and again, oh, I wish this wasn't true. I wish this wasn't happening. And I really got where Barry, Wally was coming from there with that. I mean, like, I lost someone in my own family like 3 months ago, my grandfather, who I'd known all my life. And, like, even now, it's not easy to talk about. But, you know, he's gone, and there's nothing I can do about it. And he's not the first person in my life that I've cared about who's died. And it's not pleasant to think about, but, you know, he's not gonna be the last. My parents aren't gonna live forever. My aunt isn't gonna live forever. None of my friends are gonna live forever. It's really only gonna be a question of who ultimately checks out first. And one of these days, my number's gonna be up. And people who care about me then, they're gonna have to deal with that. But that's just life. All right, so I think we got a little off track there. But let's talk about the good here, the really awesome stuff, and that's, yes, Tom Cavanaugh gets to be Eobard Thawne again. I did like that fight between him and Sisko, where we are reminded that Thawne is a pretty capable hand-to-hand fighter himself. He's, was able to. Well, he did. Well, like that fight with Oliver back in season 2, was it? Like when we had the Firestorm team up. Now Thawne, in that he's either blocking or getting hit by Oliver, and if you watch that fight really carefully, and I've watched that scene many times, he lands one blow on Oliver. The rest of the time he's blocking or getting hit by him. But remember, this is Oliver post League of Assassins training. And over on Legends, Thawne fought Rey, and even flat out said to Rey, I don't need my powers to kick your ass, Rey. So Thawne is a capable hand-to-hand fighter in his own right. Not as good as somebody like Oliver, but still, a guy you can't discount. And he does win that fight with Sisko. It's Cecile who ultimately saves him. But again, Sisko isn't a guy with a lot of hand-to-hand combat training. He relies mostly on his power. Still, it was really great when he had that moment where it's like, oh crap, my speed doesn't work in this situation. And it does, of course, lead to them throwing him in the pipeline again, and we get to have Tom Cavanaugh, who obviously loves doing this a lot, just ooze that menace. And I love that bit where he says, like, what do I want? What do I always want, Barry? I want to kill you. And then he goes on like, yeah, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your family. I'm going to kill all your friends because I'm going to get out of here. You know I'm going to get out of here. I always get out. And the sad thing is, he's right. He always does manage to escape. But, and this is something I've said about Reverse Flash before, as badass as he is, in a way, he's also a pretty pathetic guy because his whole life is defined by his relationship with Barry Allen. Everything is about, I'm going to kill Barry Allen. Why does he want to kill Barry Allen? To prove that he's better than Barry. And yet, we still have this weird mixture, like especially in season 1, where he cares about Barry. Like, he also legitimately, in his horrible and twisted way, cared about Nora. It's this weird mix of, like, he loves them and he hates them at the same time. It's just that his hatred far out eclipses his affection for them. And we've even saw, like in that episode of Legends of Tomorrow, where they team up with Damien Darhk and Malcolm Merlyn and take over the world, essentially. Doom World, I think the episode was called. All he does is basically set himself up as like this science savior of the world and basically have people kiss his butt. That's all he can really do. That's all he wants, is to just satisfy his own ego. Even then, in a world without Barry, it's all about proving that he's better than Barry Allen. He is defined utterly by this one thing. And I really wish somebody on the show would call him out on that. It's like, dude, if if you're so great, why do you let Barry have this power over you? And that's what it is. That's what ego is in a lot of ways. Is it's to put it this way. Self-esteem is rooted in your opinion of yourself. Pride and vanity are rooted in the others' opinions of you. And okay, for maybe personal, for professional reasons or whatever, yes, your reputation, what other people think of you, is going to be important sometimes. But it is ultimately your opinion of yourself that matters far, far more. And that is completely lost on Thawne. He just doesn't get it. Everything ultimately is about him and being better than Barry Allen. And in its own way, that is pretty pathetic. But whatever. We're going to get to see Tom Cavanaugh really just go to town some more as Eobard Thawne, as Reverse Flash. And hey, you got to have Barry and Reverse Flash throw down at least once a season. You just got to. That's how it works, man. Anyway, guys, I am so looking forward to that. And that's all I've got for you this time. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And you can join me on Twitter at Who's Your Jedi. Until next time, take care and have a good one.